MOO KMOO 99.
T-Town choo-choo train. T-Town choo-choo train.
I swear that thing busts out my eardrums every time I play it. It's just gotta play it so loud because I like it. Sue me. I like it. What's up, everybody? Oh, I'm hearing myself somewhere. Where am I doing? Ah, there we are. What's up, everybody? Hometown Terrell, Texas podcast, episode 6, coming at you this evening. Hope everybody's doing all right. Thanks for joining me tonight on a warm summer night, and we're here. And tonight we are talking summer, particularly summer in Terrell. I'm from here, born and raised. I spent many a summers here, so I know what summers can be like here, what they used to be like, what they are now. So I thought we could talk about summers. Good, bad, ugly. A little bit of everything with summer. One of the things I'm going to start off with that and it's not going to be in a particular order. It's going to be things I hate and I like about summer. One of the things I really do hate about summer is this up and down weather in the beginning, because it's just thrown my allergies out of whack, and I don't have my whole voice back. I've put this thing off as long as I could, and it's like, okay, I want to do a show, even though I don't sound that great, but I sounded way worse 3 weeks ago, so I'm glad I can at least talk. But that's one of the things let's start off with is the weather. Not just the heat, but that beginning part where it's like summer doesn't know what it's doing. It's hot one day, it's rainy, it's cold, the weather windy, stormy, dusty. I don't like that about it. I think that's more of a Texas thing than a Terrell thing, but we'll own it. We'll say it's ours. So we'll start there. And by the way, feel free to chime in on any of this stuff on Facebook and YouTube. Before we get too far into this, let's thank some people. Let's thank, who are we thanking tonight? Hull Ranch Designs for getting me this hat. They do a lot of stuff for the football team, for the boosters. So I appreciate the hat, guys. Create a Legacy. Sean and his team did a great video for me the other day that I posted that's had some really good feedback, talking about the purpose of the show and what we're looking to do with these episodes. So I appreciate Create a Legacy for that. So let's get into this. One of the cool things I like about Terrell is that we always have a hangout in the summer that you see people at. You see families at, you see the baseball teams at, and all that. Kids after they've gone swimming. Usually it's Brahms. You always see people at Brahms. And I mean, you see them in droves. And that's kind of cool because you get to see people out in the summer just hanging out, enjoying their night. I described summer the other day as kind of like being a Thursday night as an adult. As an adult, Thursday night is kind of a let loose night because you only have to work one more day until the weekend. And it seems like during the summer for adults, every night's a Thursday night. So if the kids are like, hey, Dad, I want to go get some ice cream, you'll do it on a Tuesday night because it's summertime. And you're like, I can sail up a little later. I can cheat. I can eat a little something different. So it's cool to see a lot of families out there. Now, on the flip side, the thing I don't like about it is that line is ridiculously long, whether you're in the drive-thru or you're outside. You're walking in. Ridiculously long line at Brahms. I'd love to ask for another ice cream place in the evenings, but I kind of like Brahms. It's very centralized, good food, good dinners. So we'll keep it. If the Dairy Queen had been in town when they built this one, that probably would have been more convenient for everybody. But we'll take Brahms. So I do enjoy the Brahms nights. We do have 2 Botanas places here in town. The Botanas establishments do a lot of snacks, Latino snacks. Those guys tend to be pretty busy during the summer too. You know, a lot of refreshing stuff, a lot of fruit, a lot of juices. So if ice cream's not your thing, check out one of the Botanas places. We got one right next to Taco Bell, and we've got one on Rockwall Street, right across the street from, lost my train of thought, the grocery store, the Azteca. Lost my train of thought. So if you're, like I said, if you want something that might not be as bad as ice cream, or maybe you're not able to take ice cream because it just doesn't do well with you, try Botanas. You might enjoy something there, something refreshing. Sports. We love our sports here. We love our sports here. The cool thing about this time of year is that you see, you know, baseball, obviously tons of baseball, softball, different rec leagues, co-ed leagues, kids out there playing. You see kids at the basketball court. Man, that basketball court, the one here by Ben Gill, I see kids playing there all hours of the night. I saw kids playing there at like 11:30 the other night. And they go, you know, they start early and they stay late. They love it. They love the ball. They love to just hang out and play. That's such a cool thing. You know, we do have a centralized kind of park area, and it's fun to see people enjoying it. You see people walking around the pavilion. You'll see people just hanging out in their car, maybe having dinner with their family. You'll see people like on little dates hanging out, people feeding the ducks, people fishing, a little bit of everything. So it is fun to see that. Now, the one thing I want to point out is that we used to do the same thing when we were younger. We used to do it late too. We did the baseball fields. We played baseball, and there were never enough of us to play an entire game. There were like 5 of us, maybe 6 of us, if I can't remember. So we did like home run derby, and we'd play baseball like 2-on-3, 3-on-3, stuff like that. But we would play until all hours of the night. I think I said this in episode 1. We used to go in there and turn on the lights at the fields. We didn't know that you couldn't just go in there and turn on the lights. We figured out where they were at, and we're just like, oh, we should just be able to turn them on. There's nothing there that says we can't. And we did. And now I think they're padlocked because of us. So yeah, I think the statute of limitation has passed where you can't prosecute me for that. So I'm going to go ahead and own up to that. I will not state my accomplices, but there were several of us. So yeah, and that's the thing I think about whenever I see those kids playing basketball. I'm like, who turned on the lights? Who's got the key to the lockbox? You know, that's the thing I think about. Like the 10-year-old in me thinks about that. It's like, well, how did we used to just turn on the light. We had to figure it out. Who figured it out for these kids? And like, do they have an in, or do they just do it and they don't care? I don't know. It's summertime, you know, have fun with it. Let's move along here. I would say in the summer, what a lot of people do, a lot of people tend to go out to eat more. They like to keep the house cool, so they don't necessarily want to, like, you know, turn on the stove and turn on the heat, turn on the oven. You definitely don't want to turn on the oven in the summer. So, you know, people tend to go out to eat more, I think, in general. Anything to keep the house cool, to stay out of the house. You know, the stuff that comes to mind is like barbecue, burgers, hot dogs, East Texas hot links, turkey legs, stuff like that. A lot of that's kind of summer foods. You know, potato salad, baked beans, all that kind of stuff is what I think of when I think about summer. You know, we have plenty of establishments that do supply that, and then some. There's more coming. I just posted one the other day. We got a barbecue place coming that's opening on the 3rd of July. So, and it's near the park, so that's even better. You get to go check out some barbecue, you get to go hang out at the park, you know, kind of bring your dinner with you. So, you know, it's just a summery thing. That's what comes to mind is barbecue. And then not just the barbecue food, but the act of barbecuing, the act of being outside, being with your friends or being with your neighbors or people from the church, and just hanging out by the grill, you know, enjoying a beverage of whatever sort. Doesn't have to be alcoholic, could be non-alcoholic. Enjoying some music, whether it's just on the radio or somebody playing live. You know, it's just a fun environment. It's just fun. It just speaks summer to me. I would say barbecue is like the scent of summer. That and off the spray, the mosquito spray. We'll get into that in a minute. Actually, we'll jump into that now. Mosquitoes. That's one of the things I hate. Texas, Terrell, wherever. I hate the mosquitoes. I have whatever my genetic makeup is. The mosquitoes love me, and mosquitoes find me anywhere in the world, and they literally have found me anywhere in the world. So I hate mosquitoes. I hate just dealing with that. I love that the city does come around and spray. I wish they would spray more often, but for me, I don't think you can spray it enough. But I just hate it. I hate the way that they ruin your time, and all the precautions you got to put out. You got to light your citronella candles and your torches, and you got to spray off on that stinks and it's greasy and I don't know. To me, if I feel grimier after I put the off on, but it's a necessary evil in the summer, especially here in the South. It's just a necessary evil, but it is something that reminds me of summer, especially growing up. And, in particularly when I don't wear it and I think I can get away with it, because those mosquitoes will eat me up, and I'm sure I'm not the only one there. I'm sure other people will relate to me on that. So like I said, I grew up here. Class of 2000, I went to school here. I went to high school here, late 90s. So I remember like hanging out at the park again, like you still see kids do. But I remember us hanging out at the Iris Theater, going to the movies. You only had like one screen, so you saw whatever the newest thing was out. But I remember going to the theater. I remember going to Sonic. Like when you had your car, you'd cruise through town. You'd go to Sonic. You'd get a drink. You'd hang out with some friends. You'd go to the car wash a couple of buildings down right there on Moore Avenue. Well, we had 3 car washes then. But I remember the one right there next to Sonic. But then you had the one that's still there by Whataburger. And then you had the one on the east side of town, kind of like by Green's Tire. That one's not there anymore. But I remember hanging out like that. You just hang out with your friends, cruise around, listen to music, avoid not getting pulled over for cruising down Moore Avenue more than 3 times in an hour. And I wonder, what do teenagers do now? Where do they go? Technology has made things differently. Kids hang out differently than they used to. And I really don't know. My son's not old enough for that yet. My son's not old enough to where he's hanging out with his friends late at night and like cruising around and stuff. He's a few years away from that. But I do wonder, what do they do now? I haven't really observed a lot of that. But I do miss that time. I do miss the time of just being very, very carefree, very relaxed. Just enjoying summer, enjoying staying up late, talking on the phone, playing video games, all that good stuff. That's what I think about when I think of summer, which, my kid does do some of that. He definitely stays up late. I think everybody's kid stays up late during summer. Some of them stay up way too late. They have like their own shift. They're like a night shift worker, and then they sleep during the day. What's your favorite movie? Talking about summer, what movie comes to mind? For me, it would be The Sandlot. The Sandlot, if you don't know The Sandlot, which everybody's probably seen it, is a story about a professional athlete and a guy that's a reporter, and they were kids growing up playing baseball. And they played baseball every day, and obviously one of the kids turned into a professional athlete, the other kid turned into a sports announcer. But it's a story of just like coming of age I think it was like in the 60s, maybe the 50s. But just all the antics kids get into, playing baseball, going to the pool, going to the movies, just going carnival, all that stuff. But The Sandlot comes to mind for me because that town was a small town, or at least was portrayed as a small town. So that's what I thought about. Me and my buddies riding our bikes all over town, going to kids' houses, going to play baseball. We played baseball in the morning because it wasn't really hot. In the middle of the day, we'd go to somebody's house and we'd we'd watch MTV or watch whatever was on TV, but usually watched a lot of MTV back then. And then as it got cooler, we would go back outside and go run around again. But it's like in the middle of the day, it was like, go inside, it's too hot. But in the morning and in the evening, our parents didn't want us in the house. Like, go outside, go play, go run around, go ride your bikes. You have your quadrant, don't go past this, don't go across Moore Avenue, don't go to 205, don't go to 34. Like, stay here, stay in your little square. And if I hear about you going anywhere else, you're not going anywhere for the rest of the summer. Okay, yes ma'am, yes sir. And that's kind of how it was. So that's what I think about. The summertime is The Sandlot. I love that movie. Every generation's different, but that's my movie. That's the movie that makes me think about my childhood. Let's see here. So, losing my train of thought here. I would say the flags would be another good thing I like about the this time of year, particularly the summer. You got Memorial Day, you got Flag Day, you've got Independence Day, you've got Labor Day, and you have people that put their flags out, and you have the groups that you can pay for them to come and put flags in your yard for those particular days. You pay for X amount of days, and they come out and they put flags in your yard, and it's cool to drive around town and see all these American flags. It sounds kind of hokey, but it's still like a feel-good thing. You enjoy seeing that. You enjoy seeing people having pride in our community, in our country. But it's one of those things every year, like clockwork, that the flags are coming out, and the bunting, the red, white, and blue bunting. It's a whole thing, and then everybody's just wearing like the America shirts and 4th of July shirts and all that stuff. You only see it during the summer. You don't really see it other times of the year, but during the summer, that's when you see it. I wish it was all year, but I'm glad we at least get a season where it's appropriate. I guess it should always be appropriate, but it seems like during the summer is when it's like in particularly appropriate. So I do enjoy that. Especially in a small town, it's a lot of pride there. Moving on here. So for us growing up, 4th of July was always a pretty good thing, a pretty big thing. We used to have it in the park. We used to have it in Bingo Park, and they'd have like musicians, and they'd have like a parade, like a tricycle parade, bicycle parade, all that stuff. A couple of vendors, and everybody would show up. The park would be full everywhere. My parents are they live near the park, so we would just kind of show up for a barbecue at their house, and very early in the day, we'd go park our vehicle across the street at the soccer fields because we knew we'd have a prime spot later. And a lot of people will do that throughout the day. But it was just so cool seeing everybody come out. Everybody come out. That whole area, that whole vicinity, cars lined up and down the road, people parked in the grass. Before in the old days, the soccer field didn't have the fence, so then you would just park out there in the field. And I mean, it'd be full of blankets, people laying down to watch. It was a good time, and it was just really a big sense of community, and I really appreciated that about our town. I really enjoyed that. It was fun. It was just it was a day. It was a whole day, and we've always had a really good fireworks show. For being a small town, we have a really good fireworks show, and it's only gotten better as the years have gone on. And I've been to other communities for their fireworks show. My son loves fireworks shows, so this time of year we tend to go to a couple of them. And like right now, they're going on now, even though Independence Day is a few days away. Like every night for the next couple of nights, you'll see stuff going on. So we've always had a really good show. I've always been proud of that. I think our town's been proud of that. We've always had a really good show. Now, it's different now. The 4th of July stuff is at the airport. And I know in the beginning, a lot of people were kind of turned off by that because of where it's at. It's no longer in the center of town, but it's still a very fun activity, and the city has done a good job of still making it very, very festive. You know, it's not always going to stay this. It's not going to stay the same forever. You know, things are going to change as our town grows. Things are going to evolve. I'm sure at some point they might move it away from the airport too. But it's still overall a fun environment. It's a good time. It's cool. Again, it's cool to see like people stop, pull over on the side of the road, and just observe the fireworks for 15, 20 minutes. We just kind of stop and we just enjoy. And we just enjoy each other. We enjoy being here. I think it's a cool moment. I think it's especially in a small community. So those are the things that I really love about summertime here in our great little town. Now there's tons of other stuff to do. You know, library has activities, the swimming pool. Oh man, I'm not even going to get into the stories about the swimming pool growing up. That pool has evolved so much over the years, by the way. Shout out to them and all the progress they've made over the years. Now you got like 3 slides, and they have way more courses, more safety courses than they used to have, swimming classes. But the pool is always a good time. It's still relatively cheap to get in. So yeah, swimming, if you like the water, go check out the swimming pool. But that's really what I enjoy about this town is summertime is just a cool vibe. It's really laid back. It's really chill. Besides the heat, I hate the heat. But we all hate it. We're all in it together. So I guess it's okay, right? A few things I would like to point out before we get too far along in this episode, or before we go. You know, people pop fireworks every year. This is kind of my public service announcement. People pop fireworks every year. People pop them in town. Yeah, we're not supposed to do it. I understand that. People still do it. You hear it. The dogs are going crazy. Keep your dogs put up. You know, be mindful that the dogs don't like it. You know, put them up. Make sure that they're in a safe place. Make sure they got their ID or their tag, or they've got a microchip. That way, if they get out because they're scared, you're able to find them. But don't forget, we still have a ton of brush. You know, and I'm not going to get on the good or the bad side of this. It is what it is. We got a ton of brush. We had a big storm. They're slowly but surely picking it up. I have some in my yard, so I'm not going to sit here and say my yard's clean. Mine's been sitting there for 3 weeks, but now you have a big pile of dry wood. Everybody, almost every house in this town, or a majority of them, have a big pile of dry wood. So be aware of that when you're popping fireworks. If you pop them in town, which people do, understand that you could easily cause a fire with a big old pile of wood. Just dried up wood that's been sitting there for 3-4 weeks. So just be mindful of that, guys, is that we want to try to keep our little city safe, and we want to try not to burn it down, okay? Many have tried. Nobody's done it yet. But let's not be the group that does do it. Let's keep it safe. In general, be safe. You know, look out for each other. Have fun, but be safe. Yeah, I think that's it. We're just talking, like I said, Independence Day, holidays in general, summer holidays, things we love about summer. You know, I like staying out late. I like barbecuing, and I like ice cream. I don't like mosquitoes. I don't like the way my allergies are. And I don't like the pile of brush in my yard. But other than that, you know, I can tolerate summer in Terrell. It's fun time for everybody. You know, school is not that far away. I mean, once we hit July 4th, it's like, hey, we're going to start the downslope of summer. And, you know, you're going to start seeing all the back to school stuff. And, you know, you're going to start seeing football practices, 2-a-days, all that good stuff in the very near future. It's way closer than you think, guys. So enjoy your summer. Enjoy what we have left of it. We still have, the kids have, 6 weeks left? 7 weeks left? Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can, because we're going to be back into it before you know it, guys. So before we go, let's thank the sponsors. Let's thank Waste Space Audio for the music. As always, he puts together some great music for me. So shout out to Waste Space Audio out of Canton for that. Young Ideas Dish out of Wills Point for the video. I love me some Young Ideas Dish. Hit them up for your dish, Google product, and cellular needs. And I think that's going to wrap us up. So, thank you, Terrell. You guys have a good 4th of July holiday. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Latest.